What is up, guys? It's your boy, back with another Global Civics essay. Make sure to drop a like on this video because it's gonna be a banger, and while you're at it, just go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Okay, so recently, we've been doing our controversial conversation essay video series, where we break down controversial subjects and I tell you what the correct opinion is. If you want to go check out the other videos in the series, just check out what I've been doing up in the iCard at the top right of the screen. Anyway, let's begin with this episode. This video will be about if our country should support social welfare programs with tax dollars. So let's define some of the key terms. Well, there's only one. It's social welfare. The dictionary defines the word as an organized public or private social services for the assistance of disadvantaged groups. Well, we'll be looking at the public social services that help disadvantaged groups, and they must be funded by government. So I will be arguing that taxes should not be used for social welfare type programs because 1. It perpetuates poverty, 2. The programs do not function well, and 3. They stunt growth in the market in which they are impeding. As is usual, I will go through these points and show my evidence for each point. Also, I have my sources for everything I say in the bottom left hand corner of the screen. So, the hope for social welfare is to help disadvantaged people from being, well, disadvantaged. And this does happen. Today, a record 28 million adults receive Medicaid, a 400% increase from 2000. These people are getting help and they're benefiting from the government handouts. But experts say that our nation's welfare system continues to encourage a culture of dependency rather than self-sufficiency. And if we cannot measure the true impact of our programs on their participants, we will only perpetuate this cycle of poverty. This is because people are incentivized to remain on welfare forever. For example, if a person had a low income but had money and savings, he would not get welfare. So to get welfare, first he would need to deplete his savings, making him more financially unstable. Since there's a cutoff for how little money one needs to receive benefits, people at the bottom will be disincentivized to earn more money because they will lose their welfare checks. Some say this could be solved with the Universal Basic Income, the UBI, because this system would give money to everyone no matter how much money they have. But in 4 controlled random assignment experiments across 6 states between 1968 and 1980, the comparable policy was shown to reduce yearly hours worked among participants significantly. And for each $1,000 added in benefits, there is an average $660 reduction in earnings, meaning that if a government paid $3,000 to a family, they would only have a net increase of $1,000 because the family would make $2,000 less dollars of their own money. Okay, let's go on to point number 2. The hope for social welfare is to help disadvantaged people by giving them good care, but this does not always happen. Programs like welfare in the United States help with current consumption while placing almost no emphasis on job training or anything else that might allow today's poor people to become self-sufficient in the future. So people might be living above the poverty line, but the government programs are not helping them grow and contribute to society. Other programs that are entirely government social welfare, like the British NHS, is funded entirely by taxes, and is thereby free to the patients at the point of care. In theory, the economic result would be access consumption without respect to need of price. But the NHS compensates for this problem in 2 principal ways. First, by centrally controlling the fees that doctors, hospital, drug manufacturers, etc. receive for their goods and services. And second, they restrict the consumption of costly services that would blow up the British national healthcare budget. So the problem is solved. People get free healthcare and no one uses too much. This system has worked because the NHS has followed their budget and they have not run out of money. But the problems start to occur when you look at the type of care people are getting. NHS doctors routinely conceal patients' information about new innovative therapies that the NHS doesn't pay for, as to not distress or confuse them. Most NHS patients accept to wait 5 months for a hip operation or knee surgery, leaving them immobile and disabled in the meantime. The actual waiting times are even worse, 11 months for hips and 12 months for knees. compared to a wait of 3 to 4 weeks for such procedures in the United States. Another government-provided social welfare is the Canadian healthcare system. They are also known for long waits for treatments, and in this system, unlike the NHS, is losing money and is expected to go bankrupt in 6 to 8 years. The hope for social welfare is to help disadvantaged people, but an unintended result of this attempt to help is actually that it hurts the economy. A good example of this is in the national healthcare industry, where many governments will take over the industry or regulate the prices of drugs and treatment. Americans pay more for healthcare than people in other countries. This is in part because drug prices in the US are a lot higher than in other countries. A top-selling drug to treat rheumatoid arthritis is nearly $2,700 per administration in the United States, more than twice the price in the UK. American salaries are not twice as high as British salaries, but the reason for this discrepancy in the price of the drug is because nearly all countries except the US have policies to lower drug prices, include price controls, regulations that limit the profitability of drugs, reference pricing, and cost-effectiveness thresholds. This seems like a big win because the social welfare program is indeed helping disadvantaged people, but it is possible that reducing drugs on prices will kill the drug industry and in turn hurt the disadvantaged people that were supposed to be helped. It is hard to understand from a consumer's perspective, but if you think as the drug company, government drug pricing seems bad. Drug companies take a large risk to invest in new medicines. Only 2 out of every 25 potential drugs ever reach patients. The average drug takes 11 to 14 years to develop, and the cost of bringing drugs to the market range anywhere from $1 to $2.6 billion. These drugs end up saving people, but they take a lot of time and money to make. So if their profits were cut by the government, the drug companies would have less money to spend on research and development, and therefore less drugs would be made. Multiple economic studies suggest that lower profits would lead to future patients to have fewer new therapies. But will the money that the consumers save by not spending as much on medicine outweigh the medical innovation that did not happen? Once again, several studies suggest that the benefit of lower prices today is offset by the value created by drugs that will never reach the market. According to one estimate, if the US were to adopt European-level price controls, the reductions in US prices today would result in 0.7 years lower longevity for the future of Americans and Europeans, due to fewer new drugs. So these studies say that the money that the consumers save by not spending do not outweigh the medical innovation that did not happen. Okay, so that's it for my video. Thank you for watching the entire way through, and once again, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Also comment what you think about this video. I'd love to see what all of you have to say. See you next time, and peace.